and welcome to another edition of Inside PressBox presented by Friedmont Mortgage. I'm your host, Stan the Fan Charles, and we'd like to welcome our friend Carl Delmont and all the folks at Friedmont Mortgage as our newest title sponsor to Inside PressBox. Go to FriedmontMortgage.com for all your mortgage needs. Don't make a 30-year mistake. Go to FriedmontMortgage.com now. And now that the NFL players and owners are coming to terms and the Ravens are making their way back to Owings Mills, we can finally say football is back. But will it be the same football we've come to expect? Joe Platania, PressBox's Ravens beat reporter, joins me later in the show to talk about the 2011 Ravens. But also joining me tonight are three men who've put a lot of time and energy into planning this inaugural Baltimore Grand Prix, which is now just 5 weeks away. We have Jay Davidson to my right, President and CEO of the Baltimore Grand Prix, and two other men who've played a part in making the Grand Prix a reality. They are Terry Hasseltine, Director of the Maryland Office of Sports Marketing, and my good friend Bob Leffler, the President and CEO of the Leffler Agency. And I thank you guys all for coming on the show.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Yeah. It is. Jay, it's unbelievable. Must have had you on the show 15 months ago, maybe even a little longer ago than that, because we were talking about Jason Garrett.
That's right.
Being your college roommate at Princeton. It's come full circle. We're just 5 weeks away from this. How exciting a time is it, and how much hair are you pulling out every day?
The sleep has been tough recently, but it's actually a great time for us. We've been working really hard, and it's just it's really fulfilling to see the dream come true and to see the race walls going up and the spectator areas being set.
If you can refresh our memories, all of us here, and we're looking at a little B-roll of some of the excitement surrounding this, when did you get this idea, and what was your first move? And then we'll talk to Terry a little bit.
Stan, I'd love to take credit for the idea, but it wasn't my idea. I came on board sort of with a group that had already been looking at this, but actually it was my wife who brought me on board, and we've had a group of 20-something people working very hard to make this a reality.
Terry, what did you think? You had been pretty new at the time when when Jay got passed along to you. What were your initial impressions of this idea, and what did you think initially?
Conceptually, it sounded awesome. And from that perspective, it was worth going the extra mile and exploring. And I remember Jay and his partners inviting us to go down to St. Petersburg, because everything they were saying was really great. And it looked great on paper, it looked great on everything that we had seen presented to us. But we needed to see a firsthand look at it. We went down to St. Petersburg, and Mike Friends and I from the Stadium Authority came back and said, this is the real deal. And next thing you know, the dialogue started with the state and with the city and continued to get more in depth.
We'll talk more about a lot of aspects of this, but I do have to ask you, what is the economic impact going to be when all is said and done this first year?
Well, you're looking between $50 and $65 million of impact to the city of Baltimore and the greater region.
Bob Leffler, you and I have known each other 25 years. I know you've got a lot of historical background in sports and marketing in Baltimore. Tell me a little bit about what you see in this race.
I've never seen anything like it. Because we helped bring CFL football here, NFL football back, work with Major League Baseball here, and work for all of the country with brand equity, do the Preakness every year. I've never seen anything sell itself like this before in my life. I mean, I could be beating on Jay for money all the time, and I'd be beating on Jay for no reason, because I mean every time they put up a wall, every time they put up a fence, every time somebody complains about traffic, they get free grips. They're getting their advertising just by the event, and the event equity. It's the fourth major league sport in town,
behind the Ravens.
Baseball, football, Preakness, Grand Prix. It's the only other one we're going to get. We're not going to get.
We're not getting.
We're going to get hockey and basketball.
Yeah.
Ain't going to happen.
Yeah. Jay, this is year one of an initial 5-year contract. How do you see this thing growing beyond this year?
It's a great question. I think obviously our model is Long Beach, which has been sort of going for, I think, 37 years now. And I think for us to continue to grow, we have to be embraced by the community. So we've tried to make this event much more than just a street race. So we'll have concerts and fun runs and all kinds of things going on that whole weekend to make people who aren't racing fans come to the event and then want to come back year after year.
Terry, the state's position about this race, they must think this is just, gravy. on top
Well,
of everything.
It's a great opportunity to expose not only the city of Baltimore, but the entire state of Maryland in a very positive light. It's another thing to add to the resume for the city of Baltimore and the state of Maryland. It brings a profile to a region that no other event really can do, because it's so unique. It's so off the cuff. It doesn't happen in a box, and it doesn't happen in a stadium. It's going through the streets of Baltimore. So it brings a different viewpoint from different types of spectators that normally might not preview Baltimore and the state of Maryland as a destination to go for a sporting event.
Bob, as a marketing guy, is the fact that the people that are really excited about this initially are out-of-towners, does that provide the room for tremendous growth here? Because you suddenly in year 2, 3, 4, you start to get the locals a lot more interested.
Well,
in it.
this is a wannabe town. I mean, it's a typical, I hate to say tier 2 town, but I mean, I have a lot of tier 2 towns in my portfolio. And people, it's not New York or LA, let's face it. Something like this happens. It's like the Preakness. The Preakness has exploded. And it went through the little dip when they reconstituted the infield in a little more dignified and more interesting way, and now it's rocking again. And people want to be there. People want to be at this event. You can tell it by the ticket sales. I mean, the ticket sales, what we say, unaided brand awareness. It's great.
Do we know what demographics are in terms of ticket buyers, in terms of locals versus people within 100 miles, 250 miles?
Yeah, I've got some sense of that looking at sort of the detailed sort of ticket reports that we get back from our ticket provider. Basically, the in-market people, and that includes Baltimore and DC, represents about 60% of our ticket buy. So we're getting a lot of people from Northern Virginia, DC, Baltimore County, sort of the Baltimore area. But about 40% comes from 47 different states now, and I think 7 different foreign countries.
All right, we've got to take a time out now, but when we get back, I want to talk about corporate support for the race and how people should look to view this thing when they come downtown. All right, our guests, Bob Leffler, Terry Hasseltine, Jay Davidson. We return to Inside PressBox, presented by Friedmont Mortgage, right after this. This portion of Inside PressBox has been brought to you by the Maryland Lottery's Double Play Scratch Off, Scratch the Front, Peel the Back. Plus, enter non-winning tickets at mdlottery.com/doubleplay for a chance to win cash and great Orioles prizes.